Hi everyone, so I am here. It's 10 p.m. But I really want to get out all this stuff. I need to make sure everything is ready to go pre-film before I get ready to leave because I don't know how much editing or much I'm gonna be able to get done. Like, I initially thought I'm gonna do all sorts of things, but then my mom was like, calm down. You have to A, walk a lot while you're recovering, which is true. B, you're gonna spend all the time you're not walking sleeping. And I was like, you know what? I've lived enough years of life to know that if I ever think my mom is wrong, I end up being the one who's wrong. So I'm just gonna combat that by pre-filming a lot. First things first, I had one of my family members, they were so funny. They got me some items from the Pixie and Hello Kitty collection, which was so nice of them. Like, they know me so well. I wasn't even expecting it. I was like waiting for it to come to Ulta or Target and it like never did. But I got a couple things from them. I'm not gonna use everything. I've already used them a couple times. I'm not gonna use everything, but they had enclosed like this as a free with purchase. So I'm gonna try this, just the skincare. It's the Rose Caviar Essence. My skin obviously has not had any skincare because it's 10 at night. So I just want to see if this could hydrate my skin. Comes out feeling pretty solid, but it like melts into water. It doesn't have the same watery feel as the Dominique primer, but it definitely has a similar idea. It definitely doesn't like melt the same way that one does though. So this is still not like, it's not the same. Just finished sweating and everything. I work out the Chloe Ting, so it's fun. Yeah, so I'll see how I like this. I don't know. It seems pretty cute. I don't really feel like I put anything on. It like disappeared really fast. I definitely would say like this is really lightweight. I guess if you have like oilier skin, you might like this more. So I'm gonna go in with the Victoria Beckham Cell Rejuvenizing Moisturizer thingy-majig. The one that's like supposedly is skincare, but honestly I just use it as a makeup primer. This is like much thicker. The only thing I don't like about it is it has a very funky smell. The smell does remind me of something. It reminds me of the SK2 facial treatment essence, which has like a very trademark smell that like repulses a lot of people, but that's what it kind of reminds me of. It has like that similar vibe where it's just not a great smell, but you tolerate it because A, it's expensive, and B, maybe the fact that it has such a weird smell means that it's like extra special good or something. I think it's fine. Like, I'm glad I got it on sale. I don't know if I could recommend it. Yeah, I don't know. My stress levels are like through the roof because I haven't even started packing it. I don't usually pack until the day beforehand, so there's that. Yeah, I'm stressed. I'm trying to go back and use my liquid foundations a little bit more because I really need to decide what to get rid of and what to hold on to. So today we're going to use the Bobbi Brown Long Wear Foundation. Pretty well known at this point. I feel like I kind of stopped using it because I felt like it really emphasized my pores compared to other foundations I have, but I want to use it again, really confirm my opinions on this. I had it once and then I sold it because first off I got it in like totally the wrong shade, but second off I felt like I didn't like it. But then when Bobbi Brown came to Ulta, there must have been some sort of promotion going on. I just couldn't get this foundation out of my head, especially when Michelle Wong started doing more sponsorships with Bobbi Brown. So I just kind of was thinking about it and I bought it for a second time, but this time in like my actual shade. So I have it in Warm Porcelain. I don't know, I need to figure out if I like it or not before I decide to get rid of it. And if I get rid of it, I'm telling myself, do not buy it a third time. Do not be that person. I felt like it was like after I put on like powder and other products, I felt like it just doesn't cover the pores in the center of my face as well as other foundations, was what I always felt like. Like, I felt like it didn't cover the texture as well as other foundations I own. And because my foundation is kind of drying down, so it's, you know, it's not as dewy as other foundations, I am gonna kind of just try and apply as little concealer as possible to avoid any dryness around my eyes. So they're not gonna be as well covered today, but if I try and put on more with a matte foundation, I am gonna kind of start seeing some dryness. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave them about covered that much, and I am gonna bust out some powder just for under my eyes. I'm going to use the Flower Nose powder, which I have in this really lovely case here, and you open it and it's just this really pretty powder right here. And I'm just gonna use a very tiny brush so that I precisely put it where I want it. Definitely really want to try their Circus Loose powder as soon as I get the chance to buy it. Yeah, the powder comes in two kinds. There's one for oily skin and there's one for dry skin, and this one obviously is the one for dry skin, and I got it. It's really good. I can definitely really recommend this if you can get your hands on it, which you can from resellers. You can also just use a shopping service. I use 42 Agent. If I sound a little hoarse when I'm exercising and I'm breathing in the cold dry air, it can really irritate my throat, so oftentimes I sound hoarse for a couple hours afterwards. Don't mind me, I'm not sick. I'm going to put on the eyebrows. So for that, I'm just trying to empty the Morphe brow pencil. It is so brown on me. I'm hoping that the Brow Wiz is half off sometime this year so I can buy like 4 or 5 again. I definitely really want to try getting my eyebrows microbladed, maybe like next year. I know I've said it before, but it's just something that I feel like would really help me out. So I just realized I went too high up here, so I'm just gonna kind of rub that off with my finger, which I do that a lot. My left eyebrow does naturally sit higher, so I think my eyebrows might be a little bit close today, but that's okay. I'll just pull the eyeshadow out further and that'll fix everything. I'm trying to wrap up my Colourpop order. So I have By the Rosé, which I'll do later. That's not my major priority, but what I really wanted to cover was Orchid You Not and Lucky Penny. And I think I'm really feeling Orchid You Not today. I have heard so many good things about this palette, this is the palette that really made me want to come back to Colourpop when people were just raving on and on about how well it performed. It just really made me just so interested. Reminds me of Melt She's in Parties, which I got in the Melt Lucky Box, that like super good deal one, but it definitely doesn't feel the same. Let me get out She's in Parties. She's in Parties. I actually haven't used it yet. I just haven't had time to, but it's on my queue. So here's She's in Parties, Orchid You Not. So you can kind of see the She's in Parties is much more desaturated than Orchid You Not. But they definitely both have that similar depth going for them, which I think is what made them both have so much appeal. So yeah, I'm gonna use Orchid You Not today. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Let me just put on some eye primer really quick, though I forgot. I'm gonna put on the Rare Beauty eye primer really quickly. Been really enjoying this eye primer. I think this might be like my new favorite go-to primer for like everyday normal eyeshadows. I don't know how well this is gonna work for like a really dark palette like Orchid You Not. Maybe I should have used something stickier, but I want to see. I feel like this has worked really well with Colourpop so far. I just really love how this eye primer interacts with my skin. It really feels like it hydrates my eyelids while smoothing them out at the same time. Like I don't even see dry patches. Alright, so I'm gonna use my lens to like zoom in a little bit on the eyes, which I think is gonna be super fun so you guys can really see what's going on. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. Alright, so I'm zoomed in so you guys can really see where I'm placing this shadow. I think it'll be interesting. I like that I have this lens. I like this lens a lot. I feel like this lens is really gonna help me get better quality videos. So definitely not complete opacity on the first pass, which is fine. But it builds up really well, blends out really well. I'm not seeing atrocious amounts of fallout. This particular shade feels like it's a little hard pressed. I think the thing that bothers me the most about Colourpop is that even within their same product, the quality control sometimes is kind of lax. So somebody can be like, oh yeah, my palette was really good, and somebody else can be like, oh my gosh, mine sucked. So for me, this particular shade, which is called Moth, feels really hard pressed. And I don't know if that's this palette or if it's every single palette. However, I can blend it and I can build it, so. I'm gonna be going over all this. Obviously, this is just the first laydown. Yeah, so that's what that's looking like. It's alright. So I'm gonna move on to the dark shade over here. It's called ADA. I don't know how many of these shades are acronyms and how many of these shades are words. I'm like really exposing my age here. This also does feel a little bit hard pressed too. I wonder if all the mattes in this palette are just this way. But as you can see, I got a really nice dark layer off that. If you hear snoring, that's just Gates as usual. And I'll blend out this part more later. I always have one eye that turns out good and one eye that turns out terrible. So let me just make this eye worse looking so that we can get them more symmetrical. This will all be blended out later, I promise. It just looked really bad right now. There is a darker shade called Nuh-Uh, which is down here, really cute. I'm gonna use that right along my lash line, so I'm gonna switch to a very small brush. Now this shade is a lot more kickback in the pan. Felt a little bit creamier as well, so feels more like the matte that I tend to expect from Colourpop. Colourpop, and as you can see, this is very, very dark. And I'm just keeping this even lower. And I'm tapping off my brush for this one to definitely avoid as much fallout as possible, although I am getting a little bit on my nose. This shade has way more kickback in the pan than all the other ones I just used. This Bobbi Brown foundation, I don't know if you can tell from the zoom in, but me looking in the mirror, I just feel like the Bobbi Brown foundation does not hide my skin texture well at all. I feel like my skin looks really, really textury and doesn't look that great. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and part ways with this foundation, and I will remind myself to not rebuy it. Now, whenever I have a palette like this where I feel like I don't really have any lighter shades, which of course is not a big deal at all, what I do is I'll just reach for other shadows, a big deal. So as you can see, as usual, I have my MAC palette here with the names on the side. So I'm going to go into Wedge over here. I love to use Wedge to kind of blend out those shadows that I feel like need blending with a lighter shadow. I like to use Wedge for that. It's a very neutral color, so that helps too. And I'm just going to use that to soften up those edges. You can see it already works. You can see it just working so quickly. Just like that, blends it out really easily, right? So I'm going to use that on the other side. You can also use like powder foundation. For this look, I really do want to kind of keep that depth going, so I'm gonna use Wedge. This side is a little bit more difficult just because it was a lot worse looking to begin with, but that's okay. And if you ever feel like your eyeshadow went out too far, you can just use your finger to kind of pull some of it off. Like, you can actually just do that. Using Wedge helps a lot. This side is definitely this side is not really gonna ever look as nice just because this side I fudged it up pretty bad, but that's okay. And for this look, I kind of like how I pull it out on the lower lash line a little bit. That pulled out look, I really like that for this, in this case for this look. So I'm gonna just let the eyeshadow kind of blur out on the outer corners of the lower lash line. I feel like it adds a really cool look. I really want the Kaleidos Smoky Nostalgia collection. By the time I upload this video, it'll probably be already out. Alright, so as you can see, my eyes are not looking totally symmetrical. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of just add a little bit more I'm gonna add some Rebloom, which was that top, it's that top middle shade. I think I'll use this just to kind of add just a little more purple up top, and we're just gonna try and make them look symmetrical. The fluffy end of the ABH brush is actually like super nice. So like, even though I've sold a lot of my ABH palettes, I always end up holding onto the brushes. This side just needs a little bit more darkness, so I'm gonna go back in and darken up this side. I feel like I have some mild patchiness going on, which could just of course be my skin. That looks better, yeah. So now I've kind of covered up that. Okay, and so now we're gonna do the fun part, which is gonna be all those shimmers, which is, you know, my favorite part of a look. And I'm gonna use, I really want to use OMG, which is right here in the center. I think this will be a lot of fun. So I'm gonna put that on my finger. It feels really nice. It doesn't like feel like ultra shiny, but Colourpop shimmers really rarely ever do. And I'm just gonna put this on the center. I definitely think the mattes in this palette are more exciting. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. This shimmer, I was hoping this shimmer would be better, but this just feels like one of those mediocre Colourpop shimmers. I mean, you can still see the matte through it, so it does create an interesting effect, but it's not necessarily what I was intending. Still, I mean, you can see it at least. It's not like chalky, and it's not like chalky particles, which is like the worst kind of Colourpop shimmer. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about if you've ever experienced that. Yeah, it's like, it could be worse. This could be worse. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go in with this shade over here. I'm gonna see if I can bring some life to this look using this. I'm gonna put this in the middle, and I'm just using this on a brush first just because I need the precision. Oh yeah, I can see this one a lot better. Using it dry, I'm getting some fallout, but that's alright. You're kind of supposed to like not use Colourpop shimmers dry, so I'm like breaking all kinds of rules here. I'm just lazy. So I put that in the middle, and now I am gonna kind of put the rest on the inner corner. So that definitely kind of adds that dimension back in, and now I am gonna use a finger and just kind of tap right on the middle. There we go. That's a lot better. That's like what I was expecting. I'm going to take, of all purple, I'm gonna try this shade on my lower lash line. This is one of those like smoother, more satiny formulas. Yeah, it's like, it's shiny, but it's not super shiny. This is one of the more like less shiny ones. Yeah, I didn't want the lower lash line to stand out too much for this look. And I think, just to kind of top things off, I think I'm gonna go in with one of my Unleashia glitter sticks in the shade N1. This is almost like a hollow stick. It's actually super pretty, and I'm just gonna pop this on top. So I think the only thing that this look really is missing at this point is a good eggplant liner, and so I'm gonna put this in the waterline. It's the Urban Decay Alkaline Pencil, and this look definitely wants false lashes. I'm gonna reuse my doe lashes. I believe these are in Soft Bloom. Yeah, these are in Soft Bloom. Really nice. I wore these in a recent video, and I think for that look it was not the right pick, but for this look should be a lot better. And let's hope I put them on better than I did with my other video, because that was kind of embarrassing. Okay, I think that's a little better than last time. Like, all of my cats are congregated around me sleeping right now. It's really cute. I definitely am jealous of the cat life. I definitely would love to be a cat in my next life. I think some black eyeliner is in order to really help finish up this look. So I am just gonna use my Perversion waterproof liner. This is from Urban Decay. It's just the one I use currently. And I'm not making it super thick. It's really just there to kind of accentuate the eyeshadow. And then I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna draw some fake lower lashes because I'm not putting on mascara today. I already put it on once and I'm not putting it on and taking it off again. So when I don't want to do that, the solution is to just draw them on. It's a good chance for me to like kind of see if I can do the Douyin style of them too. So you can kind of see that I just kind of mimic having lower lashes by just drawing them on like this. Honestly, like from far away it looks fine. I'm just too lazy to do mascara right now. It kind of makes it look kind of retro almost. So now we're zoomed back out to the rest of the face. So I'm gonna work on the blush. Now, I initially wasn't gonna get the darkest Kaleidos blush, but a look like this makes me wish I had something like that because I could definitely see a look like this wanting just blush. However, I still do have my Clinique Cheek Pops, which of course I could never get rid of. So I think we're gonna go ahead and use Colourpop, and we're just gonna build it up really nicely. So I'm gonna start it up here next to my eyeshadow. So I'm gonna just, so you can see I really laid on a nice thick amount, and now I'm just gonna blend it out. Really have lots and lots of blush. I wonder if this is like a similar shade to the darkest Kaleidos one, but like I still want that one because I believe those are matte. But if it's matte, then I'll have to get it because I'd love to have it in matte. Because these, as you can see, do have a glow. I just love having different colors and finishes of blushes, which is why my blush collection is so exhaustive. So as you can see, I'm really just kind of pulling my blush out and up. And even though I didn't set my face, it still goes on really, really well. Yeah, this shade's actually perfect. I don't know why I was complaining about not having a blush shade. I must have just like, I wasn't thinking about this shade. But then I opened my blush drawer and I was like, of course, I have this one. I really want to see in this year, I really want to see it become a real trend to blend the blush with and into and around the eyes, because I see this done in Japan all the time and also in China and sometimes Korea. It's definitely more of a Chinese and Japanese thing. It looks really nice. Like, it's not like necessarily super natural, but it looks really nice. I love how this looks. I would walk out looking like this. The only thing is that when you do this, nix the contour. And then I think I do want to kind of layer so that we just get a nice blended out effect. So I'm gonna layer some blushes on top. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a thinner brush and I'm gonna take my favoriteest ever blending color. This is 06 Morning Blush from Peiliee, that super chalky color that I love to use to blend out my blush so much. I'm gonna use a nice amount of this, and I'm gonna use this to really blend out and brighten the inner part of my face, and this will further cool down the look and also just kind of add some dimension to the blush. So I'm really concentrating it all in the inner part of my face. So if you're ever using really light pastel colors like this, they are meant to be used on the inner part of your face. If you use them on the outside part of your face and then wonder why it looks so bad, it's because you're putting it in the wrong spot. And so you can see the effect of like just having that slight gradation effect to it, where I just kind of lightened and cooled down the blush. So even though it doesn't show up on my skin, it like does show up on my skin, just not in the way you'd expect. This is one of those blushes I feel like I would pan pretty quickly because I just use so much every time I use it, but that is the blush. It's a lot of fun. I like it a lot. So next we need some highlighter, and I'm going to use this from Colourpop. It's called Candy Floss. It's the Super Shock highlighter that I keep ranting about how I don't have all the shades of. You know, it's that one. You might know it if you've been on my channel for a little minute, for a hot minute, how enraged I am about the fact that I don't have all of them. You might have heard of that. And they never brought them back either. I was really holding out for it. Super pretty. And I am gonna kind of put a little bit like right up here just to really accentuate the eye makeup. These are just such wonderful toppers of anything. And then a little bit of chin volume. So the last thing I need now is to just put on lipstick, so after that we'll be done and then I can go to bed. This is just the first lip liner I grabbed. I promise it's not that deep. But I'm gonna take Morphe Backseat Love and I'm gonna sit up straight so you guys can actually see me put this on. It's a little bit too warm for this look, but it's alright. I think I'm gonna just do something really cool, because something really cool, really light, and that way I'll kind of keep the focus off my lips. So I'm gonna start with Very Very Pink from Romand. This is very, very, very pink, so I'm gonna use this as a base shade. Yeah, you can see how pink it is, so I'm gonna just apply this as a base. And I don't generally go for such cool light tones like this, but if it's glossy, I feel like it looks better than if it's matte. So I'm going to put that on as a base, and then I'm going to go in with something else. Although this almost could work. I'm going to go in with Soft Pool. It's a Lasting Water tint from Romand. It's one of their Neon Moon shades. Put this over top. I forgot it's not that dark, but it'll still go well over top. I'm not going to take my hair down because my hair's sweaty, but I will take my bangs down at the very least so I look normal. Because my hair was wet, it's kind of staying a little bit too curly. Here is the finished look with a lot of blush, very deep eyes. The shimmers were like kind of a letdown, but putting Candy Floss on top really brought that life back, so I'm not complaining. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and hope you guys enjoyed this look. I will continue working through my Colourpop queue, and I still do need to do 3 looks with Smoke and Roses. I'll work on it either while I'm in Atlanta or I'll work on it when I get back. I hope you guys like this video. Hope you guys like this look. I actually really like this. My late night creativity came through. Okay, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!